What's up, tribe? It is Monday morning and we are super psyched to be here. And today we're talking about...
Can't you see how psyched Yardy is to be here?
Super psyched. I had a trip away in the country on the weekend. We'll get to that in a sec. Today we're talking about Deload Week. Thank God it's Deload Week. And we're going to talk about deloading principles. We're going to talk about active recovery. We're going to talk about prioritizing certain components of recovery during this week and how to do it properly to make it worth your while. All that and more coming up right after this. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image. We're back. So guys, if you haven't met us before, or if it's your first time on Unity V, my name is Yanni Baumeister. To my right is my brother Rad Baumeister.
What?
And we are Unity Gym, the gym that teaches people how to move and nourish instead of diet and exercise. How are you feeling today, Rad?
I'm feeling pumped. It's Monday. I'm fucking psyched. It's a new week. I love Monday. And it's Deload Week. So
I thought we'd get like 10 minutes into this show without swearing, but gone.
Yeah. It's I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to another big week.
Yep, awesome.
Yep.
I had a weekend away with some old school mates from school, camping and sleeping in the dirt. It was awesome.
Yanni was on the kombucha all weekend. He was drinking hard kombucha.
Quite literally, I was drinking pink lemonade.
but he stayed up until 12:30. He tells me every night, and I can see it in his eyes. He looks a hell of a lot more tired than he normally does on Monday.
Long way past my bedtime. I'm usually in bed by about 8:30 at night, so it's all good. We will charge on. Now, as I said, it's Deload Week here at Unity Gym. We do a 6-week mesocycle, which means that we do 6 weeks of each week is a microcycle where there's a specific goal for our training, and the 6th week is always a deload week, where we recover and let the body basically progress and adapt to the stresses of exercise that we've provided for it for the 5 weeks prior. So we thought we'd talk about this because it is something that people get wrong. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people don't understand the importance of Deload Week, and it aligns with our principle of consistency versus frequency. Consistency and frequency versus intensity. I was just talking to someone about this before. Someone asked me, actually, we get asked this question all the time. We get people say to us, how does your program differ from CrossFit? And the first thing I have to say is I've never done CrossFit, ever. I've never been into a CrossFit box, so I really don't know exactly what goes on there. But we've trained a hell of a lot of ex-CrossFit members. I've trained with people that are really into CrossFit and done WODs with them. So I have done WODs before. So I've got a good, and I've been a fitness professional for 16 years now. You'd have to have your head in the sand in the fitness industry to not have an idea of what goes on at CrossFit. And of course, I've watched.
And you were an infantry soldier for.
I was an infantry soldier, for 4 years.
Where CrossFit was born.
Yeah. There you go. So, and what I said to this guy was, and again, to any CrossFitters out there, I'm not ragging on CrossFit at all. I'm just, what's the difference between us and CrossFit? This is the difference. There's no competition here. So we don't do AMRAPs. We don't do, as many rounds as you can do. Impossible. We don't try and get the name up on the board for doing more reps than anybody else. So whereas CrossFit promotes intensity, we promote frequency and consistency. So what we teach people is to train at a lower intensity, but to keep that frequency and consistency up, which means that you're training. So frequency is, obviously how many times a week you train, and consistency is how regularly you do that. And we try and get people to train 5 or 6 days a week. And if you do that properly, and you are looking for those constant strength and flexibility gains, then by the time you get to week 6, like we are now, oh man, you need a deload. You really need it. You just can't keep going consistently like that for long periods of time without getting niggling injuries.
Yeah, well, the difference between our program and CrossFit also is that we only feel like crap for 1 week, whereas CrossFit feels like crap all the weeks. I'm kidding.
Well, that's not a stab at it. That's looking at what the CrossFit guys are like, right? Like when they finish their workouts, they're like, oh my God, dude, I'm so fucked. And, awesome. If that's for you, go for it. But
some people love that.
Yeah, we don't do that here. I'm 40, Yanni's 38. I feel like I'm a little bit too old for that shit. So, anyway. That's, I guess, in a nutshell, what our Deload Week is. So,
one of the first things that we do for our guys here is deload week. We tend to focus on learning things that people weren't quite well versed on. So, I noticed Rad this morning during the warm up breaking it down a little bit more. Usually we smash through the warm up, and get it done in about 10 to 15 minutes. Today he spent a little bit more time really walking through the finer points of the movements that we do warming up, just to make sure that everyone is doing things correctly. This could, because we've got a little bit more time. Because the biggest difference with deload week is that we reduce the volume. So we still lift with intensity.
We still try to increase intensity.
We still try to actually increase intensity and get strength gains. But we drop the amount of volume, so the amount of sets that we do. And that gives us more time in recovery, it gives us more time to warm up, and it gives us a little bit more time to focus on remedial stuff that you might be not fitting in enough of when you're trying to smash the amount of volume that we usually do.
Yep.
That's the intra-workout deload principles. So dropping volume, still hitting intensity goals, but allowing more time for recovery and allowing more time for warm-ups and things like that. The stuff that we do outside the workout is much more myofascial release, like foam rolling, much more massage. Like I'm going to prioritize getting a massage this week. I do Epsom salts baths. They're very, very good. They're proven to really help aid muscle recovery, help relax you, help you sleep. And that's kind of the things that I like to prioritize. Massage, Epsom salts, lots more magnesium. I take a fair bit of curcumin, which is a phytochemical from turmeric, from the spice, which is really, really good for anti-inflammation. I make sure that I'm prioritizing the right foods. I usually eat a little bit more carbohydrate during my deload week to give my muscles everything they need so that they can refuel, and obviously enough protein.
Carb week. Woo.
Carb week. Woo. And that's pretty much my deload week in a nutshell. What do you do? What are your strategies?
So I
And lots of sex. Lots of sex to drive up the good, healthy testosterone and growth hormones. Yeah.
So I guess where I would start with what my deload week is, the first thing is that I come into it with a much more relaxed mindset. So I think that's the first thing. Like for my week 1 to 5, so we deload in week 6. Week 1 to 5 for me, man, I'm like, I've got a game plan, and I'm coming in here.
Exposure down a bit.
I'm thinking about exactly when our workout has to start. How long is the warm up going to go for? I'm going to do this many sets, and I need to finish by that time, so that I really know that I get everything done in my workout. In deload week, I don't do that. That's the very first thing I do. I just come in with a relaxed mindset,
Yeah.
So up here the relaxation starts, which is a really big thing, because if you train like we do, training is stressful, and I'm not saying it's stressful what most people call stress. We're like, oh my God, fuck, I've got to train. But it's a big stress on the body. So I come in with the attitude that it's not going to be a stress on my mind and my body. I think that's a really big thing to do. It's just a chilled week. If I don't get everything I was meant to do done this week, it's okay. It's deload week. But for the other weeks, no way. It's game on, The next thing I do is 40% volume. So, if I normally do 5 or 6 sets, all I do is 2 sets. Still training for strength gains and improvements. Any niggling injuries that I've got, I really take care of them in deload week. So I put a lot more time into, like you said, the self-myofascial release and everything. And I also, whereas if I've got a little injury that I can still train around in my working weeks, in deload week, I won't train around it. I'll give it that 1 week where I do not even aggravate the injury. So any tendonitis that I even feel if I do pull-ups, I just won't do that exercise for this week, even if I can work around it. And I think those are the biggest things for me. And then, to be honest, for me, I don't really change what I do around sleep and around eating. I do allow myself more carbs. I do. I loosen my belt a little bit around, what I eat in deload week. Like maybe I'll give myself a cheat weekend instead of just a cheat meal on deload week.
And the reason for that, guys, I'll just dive into that a little bit and go a bit deeper. what you're aiming for, if you're really properly periodizing your training program like we do here with the Foundation Movement System, you're aiming for super accumulation. So the first week for us is what we call prep week, and that's usually testing. Like, we're testing what movements we're going to be doing for our hypertrophy microcycles and what movements we're going to be doing for our strength microcycles, and just really getting used to how the workouts are going to go for this mesocycle, which is the 6-week period. By the 5th week, though, so you've done, depending on what your cycles are looking like, what your microcycles are looking like, what your mesocycles are looking like, you've done a few phases of hypertrophy, a few phases of strength. You should be overreaching by that period. By that, I mean you should be almost overtraining. You should feel uncomfortable. You should feel, when you get to the workouts on that last week before deload week, you should feel like, Jesus, this is going to be tough to get through this week. And what we refer to that as overreaching or super accumulation. And what happens then is, as you go into the transition of your deload week, you go into what's called super compensation, where the body really prioritizes adaptation of the tissues, of the integrity of the joints, the connective tissues, the ligaments, the cartilage, the energy systems are adapting. You become more efficient. I'll talk to this camera. Sorry, guys, we just swiped up and fucked up, basically. Just trying to adjust some lighting and...
we're still getting used to this. If you guys could see, maybe we'll take a picture one day of everything that is in this studio. It's a real amateur setup here. What I mean by amateur is it's almost professional. Like this isn't like a little home job. This is an amateur professional setup here, and we're getting used to it because we are not we're not videographers here.
That's right, absolutely. It's actually funny. I was two of the guys that I was on my camping trip with on the weekend. One's a director, and the other one is a editor. He works in an editing suite for Sky. That's Shay and Miles. And when I was talking to them about this setup, they were like, so who's running the whole show behind? And I said, a mate of mine who's also a partner and he's a personal trainer. And they just laughed and went, how the fuck are you producing a live show with a personal trainer producing it behind the thing? And we just demonstrated how. He fucking swiped up. Anyway, which shut everything down. So what were we talking about? We were talking about deload principles and a superaccumulation, overcompensation. So what we're trying to do is push the body into a state where it is overreaching, and then we get the fuck out of its way and let it heal and let it go through the adaptation process. And one of the good ways of doing that is making sure that you've got a calorie surplus, which is why Rad and I load a little bit of carbohydrate, certainly more than we usually eat during that deload week, whilst we're also facilitating all of those recovery strategies. Now, one of the things that I like to talk about, which is the concept of active and passive recovery. Now, I don't know whether I just made this up or whether I've heard it somewhere else. I'm not certainly sure, but this is, I'll talk to the main camera now because it's a little bit more relaxed. Hello. This is the concept of like literally booking, scheduling activity into your schedule during your deload week that is going to contribute towards rapid recovery, like remedial therapies, booking in a massage, booking in time to myofascial, like foam roll. What's that smile for?
I've got so many jokes that I could say right now, but I have to hold myself back.
He's got this look on his face that's making me seriously uncomfortable.
Because the jokes that I could say right now, but we've got We've got audience members that don't share my sense of humour, so I have to hold myself back. Maybe I should just let it rip. We should just be ourselves, shouldn't we? Anyway.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Opened up a can of whoop-ass. Okay, so schedule some time. Massage. Myofascial release on the foam rollers. Trigger point therapies. ART. Dry needling. Grastons. Fucking say what you want to say. I can't concentrate if you look at me like that.
No, the moment's gone.
Oh, we should start a whole new show where it's just Rad trying to make you laugh. Anyway, what have you got to add?
Yeah, for sure. Like I've scheduled a haircut this week. That's something that I wouldn't normally do because I don't have the time for it. But
so he's actually serious. I thought that was a part of the joke. This is going downhill fast.
No, yeah, for sure. You definitely. I definitely do. Look at booking in a chiropractic or massage treatment on my deload week for sure. And
we do a much looser channel fucking show during deload week. Tomorrow we're naked. Come back and check it out.
Yeah, so look, I think that's it in a nutshell. I think.
What about nutrition? What you don't change other than the carbs? You don't change anything with your supplementation?
Honestly, man, I don't. I'm not saying that's not the right thing to do, but I don't. I mean, I have every day that I train, I have 2 serves of protein powder. One of them I have with it creatine, glutamine, or L-glutamine. And creatine monohydrate, so pure creatine. What else do we have? Maca powder and a green supplement. Yep. So I still have that every day. I don't do anything different to that. Sometimes when I'm at home, I have magnesium, fish oil, and vitamin C. But that's really about it. I don't change that. Yep. I have kombucha every day. I have sauerkraut some days, so I don't change any of that. I eat healthy food every day. Like, I've just created this habit around healthy eating. But what I do differently is, because I'm so aware of how much shit junk food I eat, like any chocolate or ice cream or anything that would be considered junk, I'm very aware of how much of that goes in my body, and I love it. I do love chocolate and ice cream, and a burger is my favorite cheat meal. But I'm very aware of how much of that I eat in that 5-week period, and it's very minimal. Yep. But on deload week, I will allow myself a little bit more junk food, just a little bit, just to give myself that feeling of relaxation. To be honest, that's really what it is. That's why I came into this saying that I relax my mind first. I give myself that feeling of not having to be so highly strung with what I do with my training, because the way that I train and the way that we
regimented.
It's very regimented. Not highly strung, but very regimented. Yeah. Compared to the average person, it is a very regimented life, and for a lot of people that's too much and it's too stressful, and even for me, it is. I need that. I need to feel like I can 1 week out of every 6 just relax and just let it go a bit,
Yeah, awesome. That's probably the same for me. It's certainly a little bit more relaxing. I get a bit more work done. I shorten my workouts down a bit and get a bit more admin done around the place here. It's good.
And I reckon my final thought on this, because we are out of time now, my final thought on this is that the idea that you have to earn deload week.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to earn it. Like everything that we just said, you don't default to what we just described. Like, we are strict, we're regimented with what we do, and we live our lives in a way that really gets us to a point in deload week where we have earned this. We've earned the right to loosen our belt around what we eat a little bit more carbs, have another 1 or 2 cheat meals, and relax a little bit. You can't go through the 5 weeks like that and then think in deload week that you can go for it again. You will not get the results that you want.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that, if you're not living by a regimented eating plan and being very healthy for those 5 weeks, don't think that you get to deload week and you can go even worse than what you normally do. And if you the other thing is as well that I would say is on the other end of the spectrum is, don't feel that you can beat deload week where you want to get the results quicker and you think, oh, no, I'm not going to deload. I'm going to just go for it because I want to get those results quicker. Don't do that. You'll get injured.
Well, the other thing is that most of the adaptation process occurs during deload week.
Yeah.
Like that's why you build up. Your body's aching. You're pretty overtrained and you're overreaching at that point, and then you get that super accumulation effect. So it's super important. But what Rad said is absolutely bang on. If you're not training to that sort of intensity or frequency is a big one. If you're training every other day, like let's say hypothetically you only go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you'd never need to deload.
Yeah.
You're not training frequently enough to warrant a deload week. You know, you should just continue doing that forever, really.
Yeah.
And stop being so lazy and get to the gym more frequently. But we train 6 days a week, and we only ever have one rest day on Sunday. And so by the time we get to deload week, we freaking need it. And as Rad said, we've earned it, And most people I know who train 5 days a week, certainly like straight, they would require a deload week, either every 4 to 6 weeks, If you're really pushing hard and your intensity is above 70% when you train, then your deload week should pretty much look like a holiday. Like you shouldn't do anything. You should just have 5 days off of sitting around getting fanned by a hot woman and fed grapes, or a hot man, whatever your preference is, and fed grapes and high protein sources.
Yep.
That's it. Anyway, guys, we didn't answer too many questions. Quick shout out to Ellen Dooley in our movement mastermind. She's crushing it, and she's posting a lot of good videos to demonstrate her progress, which is one of our core values. That's how you get results, by demonstrating progress.
And the last thing is that our FMS online coaching program has had a soft launch.
Boom,
for the first time. It's something that we've been working on for years.
Yep.
And you can now, for the first time ever, train with us online for a low introductory cost of $39 US a month. That's an insanely low price for what I've seen other online coaching programs be. And what you get for that is you get access to our Foundation Movement System program, very excellent level tutorial videos. If you've watched any of our YouTube stuff, you know that this content that we produce is next level. And you get your program templates and everything, and you get access to the Movement Mastermind Facebook group where you can post videos for us to critique. You get access to what we do with our tribe, and it's an amazing program. So if you're interested in that, it's not going to be $39 US for long. That's an introductory offer. It's going to be $49 per month is going to be the regular price. So yeah, if you want to know about that, hit us up, send us an email.
Yep, absolutely. And what's the email that they can send?
rad@unitygym.com.
Awesome, guys. Until tomorrow, we've got some big stuff to talk about tomorrow. We chewed off a big can of worms on Friday with our carnivore versus vegan diet. There's a lot of questions coming in about that. Until then, we will see you soon. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.